Today's episode is brought to you by DNA Sports Training. If you or someone you know wants to take their game to the next level, then visit DNASportsDenver.com. Hit up the website, book a training session. We offer specialized sports training from football to track and field and everything else in between. Whether you're an offensive or defensive lineman wanting to take your game to the next level, maybe get off the ball a little better, or you're an athlete that just wants to improve their speed and agility, we have something for you over at DNA. Visit DNASportsDenver.com. Sign up now. Give us a look. Yo, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
DNA Sports Podcast, one more time for you.
Episode number 2.
You guys liked the first one, so we went ahead and brought out a second one. Big Al over here alongside my boy.
Coach Dom, you know what's going on?
Yeah. Hey, we're turning into quite the professionals on this thing here. Beautiful day. Hope you guys are having a great one wherever you're at, whether it's day or night, morning or midnight, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, enjoying your day.
Enjoying the day. Anyhow, man, we had a great one last week. I hope you guys tuned in. If you didn't, you need to go back and listen to it because talked about a bunch of different stuff, kind of got our feet wet with this, and now we got some more, man. We're going to dive into a bunch of different stuff today. I know Dom got some things coming up on Player Spotlights. We talk about the Brittney Griner case a little bit, WWE in a weird way, and some battle rap, man. So stay tuned and get with us, and look forward to a great show. What you think, Dom?
Yeah, I'm ready, man. Let's kick this thing off. You know, we want to keep them in tuned and ready to go. We'll start with player spotlights today. And this player that I'm going to speak about, I actually have been coaching against since he was in the 3rd grade. And when I tell you, even back then, this kid was a special player where we had the game plan for him back then. He's still that guy today.
Nice.
And he's a guy that people should watch for out in Colorado. Not only at the high school level, but once he graduates, you're potentially going to see him, you know, in state competing.
We hope.
You know, but anyway, further ado, the player spotlight of this week is Blake Barnett. He is the quarterback at Erie. He is a junior this upcoming season. He stands 6'1", 210 pounds. Kid is a pure athlete. He finished 7th in total passing yards last season, and he led his team to a 13-1 record, and they were the runner-up in the 4A state finals.
As a sophomore?
As a sophomore. Yeah, and then as he also went on to win the 100-meter dash, and he is currently ranked the number 2 in-state recruit in Colorado. Like I said, this kid's special, man. You know, I had to go out the hat, and instead of picking a pass rusher, I had to pick the guys we chase and the guys that give us fits, and this guy gives fits on the field. And again, like I said, I've been coaching against him since 3rd grade, and now he's sophomore going into his junior season, and he's still killing it on the field. Notorious for that Superman stretch as he makes these plays on the field.
Cam Newton.
You know, he does his Cam Newton very well, and he's a great kid. And, you know, to see him strive at the next level is a great thing as a coach because, again, I game planned for this kid several times playing in the championship game as he was playing for the Arvada All-Stars and we were playing for the Montbello Falcons.
Nice.
You know, I do have it on film. We got the better of him that day, but, you know, he's doing his thing, and I'm proud of him. Proud to have coached against him, and you know, I'm looking forward to watching him this year.
Erie's got a good program, man. They've had a good program for a number of years. I believe the Clats are involved up there, but that's a great program. I went a little different direction. I actually went where you would kind of go, and kind of for the same reason, just because, you know, as a defensive lineman, you know who's hard to chase down. Yeah. And as an offensive lineman, I know who's hard to block. And I went with Blake Purchase from Cherry Creek High School.
Oh, man.
6'2", 240-pound edge rusher. He's number 2 for his class, or number 1 for his class of 2023, and then he's also the number 13th ranked edge rusher in the country.
Yeah, he is something special.
Dude, he's a nightmare, bro. There's a few games that I've seen of his. The state championship game he went off, but definitely a really good player. 83 total tackles last year, 18 of them for losses, 12 sacks. He also threw in a couple picks and a fumble recovery for good measure. So very likely be a big part of the push for a three-peat out there at Cherry Creek. And we'll have a little high school football preview thing coming up here, in a few podcasts. That's kind of foreshadowing as we plan behind the scenes, but. The sad part is, I was looking at Rivals top, 20, top 16 or top 20 or whatever it is for the state. And of those top 10, only one is committed to a Colorado school. Yeah. And this is a reoccurring theme that you've seen for a number of years with Colorado missing out on great talent, whether it be CU, CSU, whatever. For whatever reason, we just miss out on that good talent, man. Like there was Dalton Reisner's one that comes to mind. Yeah. I think of Max Borghi. There's just a handful of guys that you're like, well, why aren't they in Colorado? Why aren't they going to school at a Colorado school? And it's kind of frustrating, being a fan of CU, being a fan of CSU and our local teams here. It's kind of frustrating that they're not.
It is. I can definitely tell you, though, as far as CU goes, I was at a coach's clinic earlier this year at CU. Great experience. Their coaching staff is awesome. I love the way they have a history together and they've grown together as coaches. And their intentions are recruiting heavily in state this year, and I think that they're going to turn that around, and you're going to start to see a lot more kids that are getting looks from in-state schools, and hopefully they stay in school in state as well. But Blake Barnett, like I said, I brought him up because he is actually getting looks from CU right now. Nice. So hopefully he decides to be a buff.
Well, I think some of that stuff's out of CU's control too. I don't think necessarily that they're not trying to go after these guys. I truly believe they're trying to go after these guys. For sure. I also think a lot of it has to do with infrastructure, just opportunities. Some of these other schools that these guys are going to are literally football schools. Yeah. So there's not this, there's not this whole, second class kind of feeling to it. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm not looking at it as a bad thing. I think CU and CSU can start getting on their grind a little bit more and get them guys in here, man. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, definitely. I think so as well. And we deal with it in high school football as well, where you have athletes that want to go to the big name schools, and play for those schools that have that reputation of winning per se, and they don't want to grind it out with the school that's right in front of them, giving them an opportunity, and I'll end that with saying, the school doesn't make the athlete does what he does, so don't think that you need to go to these big name schools in order to do what you do on the field. You've got yourself to this point, and you'll continue to get yourself to the next point. So believe in yourself and your ability when you're making your decisions.
I think there's something to be said about that, though, too, because, it's a different feeling to play at a football school, right? It is. You go to, the Pomonas, the Valors, even Ralston Valley right now, they've got a lot of kids. They're considered more football schools, even though they're successful at other things. Like you think of those schools in football, you think of them schools. Cherry Creek is one of them. Yeah. Going for their third straight state title and whatnot. So I think there is something to be said about that. There also is something to be said about building and kind of creating your own lane. And so you see it a lot with some of the kids that we work with all the time. So they're extra talented. They could probably thrive at other places. And they stick it out with what they're doing, man. And so, it'll always be that way. Hopefully we kind of change that now that, there's some changing going on in college football and we start getting more. I think CSU's facilities are beautiful. Now they just got to get people to them. And I think once that happens, they send people to the league, so there's talent there. So we'll see.
Yeah, shouts out to CSU as well. They just also had a camp where they had a bunch of athletes out there, and they were competing, high school athletes at a high level, and so they're also in tune with what's going on locally, and they're going to continue to try to keep some of those kids in state, and it's all just up to the athlete at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on here. Kind of wanted to bring a little something up, man. This case has been in the news for a while now with the Brittney Griner situation in Russia. For those that don't know, Griner was accused, and I think she just pled guilty to bringing hash oil into Russia back in February.
She did.
Crazy timing. Like, she was out there just as Russia invaded Ukraine. So, the politics are super high in the whole situation. But it's unfortunate, man. Like, it's a screwed up situation. We make mistakes in life, and we kind of, do things we wish we can take back. But I think just the whole environment with the situation kind of amplifies everything. It makes it they want to make an example out of her.
Yeah.
She's African-American woman that's also part of LGBTQT community. Yeah. And I think she's engaged or married to a woman back here in the States. And in Russia, I know I think it's criminalized to display propaganda, gay propaganda. Mm-hmm. And so I think it gives them more incentive, being she's American and she's a lesbian woman, to go ahead and make an example out of her. And it's super frustrating because I think what she's being charged for is bringing some hash oil in a cartridge, man. And
it's minor.
Half of the states here in this country, it's legal in terms of whether medical or recreational. And it's just a crappy situation to be put in. I kind of feel her frustration. I feel some of the people's frustration. It's also frustrating though that it's being a topic kind of used to divide folks. Yeah. Like an us versus them kind of thing. I hate it, man. It's the worst. I've been seeing these memes like, if it was LeBron, they'd get him out of there, and there's probably some truth to that. But at the same time, I think with the money involved with LeBron compared to the money involved with Brittney Griner, is that there would be more resources at their.
But that's the point.
Well, I know, I get that, but listen, what is the deal here though? Is they don't give a care about the money. They want their political prisoners to be released.
You're right. You're totally right. Like I agree with everything you said, but I will take it from this approach. I do think that, first off, I'll say that Joe Biden, David Stern, and Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA commissioner, they're all doing their part right now to try to get her free. But we've been in this situation before where we've had citizens prisoner overseas, and we've negotiated things specifically with Russia recently. I think that we need to do a little better effort in doing so with this case. I think when we talk about the comparison to LeBron or even a Tom Brady or whatever you want to say, a male athlete, I think there is something to be said about it in the fact that she wouldn't even have been over in Russia if she would be compensated here in the States properly for what she does for a living. I think the pay scale from male to female is just overwhelmingly different. And I think that we need to kind of attack that approach a little bit and maybe, pay them a little bit more so that way they don't have to compensate some of their funds by going overseas to play basketball. I think, again, we're all athletes. We talked about this last week. We have to put ourselves in the right places, make the right decisions. If you're going to a country where something is frowned upon and you're going to a country where there's going to be a target on your back specifically because who you are, you should probably, take all precautions at that time.
For sure.
But I just think that as a U.S. citizen, I would like to see us, making a little bit more effort in not only trying to get her back, but also spreading the word, right? Like, how publicized is this really? Like, you hear about it here and there. It's not as publicized as it would be if she was maybe a LeBron or a Steph Curry or a Tom Brady or anybody else.
She ain't on that level, bro. Like, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Like, listen, hear me out real quick. In terms of her, like, star power, I don't think she's on that level. Like, she's not as well known here. Like, I know of her because I've watched her play basketball when she's in Baylor, and up through but I don't know that she has that same kind of, and that's besides the point. I think the fact that David Stern, Joe Biden, the WNBA commissioner, they're starting to try to make some things happen. Why don't they give one of these oligarchs one of their yachts back and tell them, hey, we'll give you a yacht back if you can put a squeeze on Putin to let her out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, something.
I think you got to try every avenue.
Grease the wheels a little bit.
I don't want to go off the wheels with it, but in terms of like her pay and her going overseas, the NBA used to have a bunch of dudes that used to go overseas for a while there just because opportunity wasn't here for them.
Yeah.
So they go over there, and it was good pay out there. Like Europe, out in Europe, they pay good money for basketball compared, especially women's basketball compared to what they pay here in the States. But I think there's a bigger market for it out there, and I don't know that it's the same playing field in terms of money brought in. Like I don't think the WNBA brings in nowhere near the amount of money that the NBA brings in. So therefore, being able to pay them now, could they make more? Absolutely. I think if you look at the WNBA shares that was collectively bargained, it's a lot higher towards the league than it is towards the player, and that's something that needs to be addressed, because that part is definitely off there. I just think the economics sometimes don't work out. I like the idea of them making millions just like the NBA players making millions, but the WNBA has only been around about 30 years, 25 years, and they don't have the same. They haven't been around 60, 70 years, 80 years, so they have like this large growth of generational fans that kind of fund it and feed it. I think it's gotten bigger. I remember it used to be relatively small. It's definitely gotten a lot bigger, and I think whoever's negotiating on their behalf need to go on and get that better cut of the pie. And hopefully they get to a point where they've got a lot of new teams. They got like Las Vegas got a team recently. There's just a lot of new teams, but I don't think there's enough. They don't do enough in terms of pushing their product out there.
Well, I agree. It's not all wholeheartedly on, the league and how they pay their players or how it's structured even. It's also just a society thing, right? Like if the WNBA is playing and the NBA is playing on TNT and you got the WNBA on ESPN2 or something, you're going to watch the game on TNT. Let's keep it real. And that's the kind of thing that I'm saying, like, we don't give enough respect to these female athletes who are putting their bodies on the line equally, just as much as some of these male athletes, by the views. Because you're right, views and sales and fans is what drives the NBA to be the NBA.
Well, look at TV contracts with like the NFL and how much they get based off their TV contracts, because they know they're going to have X amount of chunk of the media come in. You know what I mean? I don't mean to take us off rails, but what if they drop the hoop down a foot or two, and in the WNBA made it a shorter hoop? It'd be a flashier game. It'd be more dunking. Like, do you think that would? I'm just thinking off like marketing wise. Like, do you think that would sell better? I mean, I know it kind of changes the game a little bit because the shots are different from 3-point range. Like, it completely changes the game. I think the percentages would go up, to be honest with you, in terms of 3-point percentage and field goal percentage. But to give flash, I mean, because there's nothing flashier, bro. Like, I could think back, dunking. Like, yeah, dude, like lady driving the lane and just getting up there and
yeah,
bro, like it's exciting to see because you don't see that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how much it would change the game.
Yeah, and I honestly, dude, I don't know what it is, but I just think that we have to take the time to just give them the respect for what they're doing currently. You've seen it, and again, we don't want to go too far off on a tangent, but when we're talking about female to male comparisons, you've seen it with the U.S. soccer team, the women's U.S. soccer team. Forever they were underpaid, and for a long time they were what everybody was talking about when it came to USA Soccer. You know what I mean? And they're a very, very coached team. They're a very prestigious team. They've won.
Bro, they had a more than legit gripe.
Like, they definitely had a gripe there, and it took forever for them to be treated somewhat equally. You know what I mean? And I think it's the same thing. And
deservingly so in that aspect. FIFA's corrupt as can be anyhow, but that's different. When I think USA Soccer, I don't think of the USA men's national team. I think of the USA women's national team. I think of Brandi Chastain. I think of Mia Hamm, and then the new generation, the Rapinos. I don't think of the U.S. men's national team. I can barely name a couple of guys from that team.
Yeah.
And so I do believe in that aspect for sure they had a legit gripe, and I'm glad it got taken care of because they deserve to be paid better than they were being paid. They were, in my opinion, they are U.S. soccer.
Yeah.
Like, we had a soccer influx. I remember it as a kid. right after we won the World Cup, like everyone was playing soccer.
Yeah.
You know, so they definitely had a legit gripe, and I'm glad they're getting that taken care of. And hopefully, you know, my frustration with this Brittney Griner thing, bro, is the people around her.
Yeah.
Like my thing is like, yo, if I'm going to another country, I would hope my people around me would be like, yo, you're on your P's and Q's. You got this. Make sure you don't have this. Make sure you don't take this.
Well, not even that, right? I mean, I'm not saying do anything that you're not supposed to be doing out there, but you know, if for whatever reason something that's not frowned upon here, you decide to travel with or whatever case may be, and you're of a certain stature, well, then get somebody else to be holding whatever you need to be holding for you. Because,
where's Chris Carter at with the fall guy?
Because what's going on, man? Like you're a U.S. gold medal winning athlete.
Yep.
You know, I feel very strongly that if you serve our country in our war, we need to go to back for you whenever we need to. So shouts out to all the veterans. And I also think if you go and you serve us in the Olympics and you win a gold medal and you represent us at the highest level of sports, the epitome of sports, then we need to also back you at that point. So free Brittney Griner.
So she faces up to 10 years. She's asking the court for leniency when she goes back. I think she goes back in a few weeks. Asking the court for leniency. It's frustrating, man, because you know this is being done from their end as an example and as a political tool. You know, we'll see what happens, bro. I hope the best because no one deserves to face 10 years in prison because of freaking hash oil, bro. Like,
yeah, and the scary thing about it, right, and this goes for here in the U.S., anywhere really where, you know, law is conviction rates, right? Mm-hmm. People are afraid of conviction rates. Russia has a 99% conviction rate. And, you know, the attorneys for Brittney Griner, you know, they're all strategically saying we need to take this plea, you know, because if you fight it, then you're going to face the minimum. And the chances of you taking this plea, pleading guilty, and getting home sooner are a lot more likely than you fighting this case and getting dragged on for years and years and years, and then you getting sentenced to the same amount of time or more. You know, so it's a shame that the system is built to where you have to take a plea that you necessarily don't want to take just for the sake of your freedom.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I couldn't imagine facing 10 years for hash, and I couldn't imagine. You know, being in a prison in a foreign country, especially Russia, dude. Yeah. And with everything that's going on, and I think everything that's going on right now with Russia and Ukraine is kind of just. I don't think this would have been as big of a deal. I think they still would have probably tried to make an example out of her, but I think there might have been a little bit more workability there. You know, we getting her out. Maybe we trade you this person for her. I think there would have been something there, but with the way everything's going, the rhetoric back and forth between the U.S. and Russia and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, I think it's definitely one of those things that's kind of been heightened a little bit. The burner's turned up a little bit and the pot's boiling. So hope the best for her. Hope she can get out. Yeah. You know, we'll see what the NBA, the WNBA, and some of our constituents do. There's definitely a lot of pressing issues, but I know there's family of hers and whatnot that would love to have her home. So we'll see what happens.
Free Brittney Griner.
So trade alert.
Yeah, hey, let's talk some more sports, right? Everybody's been talking about it. It just went down recently. Baker Mayfield was traded to the Carolina Panthers for a 2024 conditional fifth-round pick. Now, this pick could turn into a fourth-rounder if he plays 70% of the snaps. The interesting thing about that, right, is he's in a quarterback competition with a familiar face. You know, him and Sam Darnold were in the same draft together. In fact, the 2018 draft, Baker went number 1, Sam went number 3. There was a lot of controversy back then on who was going when and who was going to get picked first, and now they're full circle back battling it out again. You know, so it'll be exciting to see how that shapes out. Can, you know, Darnold handle the pressure? Once again, like, is he going to rise to the occasion and battle it out, or is he going to take his seat behind Baker and just back him up when needed. But let's talk about the details of this trade a little bit. I think the Browns will still pay $10.5 million to Mayfield. Panthers are on the hook for about $4.85 million. And then the quarterback decided to put the rest of his contract into incentives and bonuses like that. So, I think Carolina at the end of the day is getting a pretty good deal in this situation. They got a good quarterback that could come in and compete, and they're not paying too much for him right off the bat. They have somebody else on the hook. So,
it's wild that think about that first round class. There was 4 in the top 12 or so, and of those 4, only one has really proven to be worthy. Josh Allen. I don't even is Rosen in the league anymore. And then you got Baker being traded, which Baker kind of got. Last year was a bad year for him. There's no way to sugarcoat that. Yeah, you do.
At the end of the day, you make your bed. You're a professional athlete. You know the business.
Yep.
You know that they're gonna bring in people. They're gonna trade away people.
Oh, I'm not even talking about the Deshaun trade.
No,
I'm not even talking about that, bro. I just think it's a bad season for him last year. He made a lot of mistakes.
Oh,
he regressed. He regressed. From the season previously. And I know there was some battling back and forth between the coaches and some of the personalities they had in the locker room, but I think a lot of his flaws kind of shined through last season.
Yeah, I think, though, a lot of that, though, honestly, to back Baker up, I think that was a lot of coaching, right?
Yeah.
And not saying that the X's and
Stefanski or whatever.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying the X and O's portion of the coaching either. I'm saying Baker Mayfield played a lot of last season injured.
Yeah.
And as a coach, at some point, you got to protect your player. You got to protect your brand, right? If you got a guy out there that's given 100, everything that he has, but it's just not his full potential, and he's putting himself at risk, and really you're losing games anyway, then what are you risking? Why you got that guy out there? Go with their backup. That's where you pay backups. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
These guys are good quarterbacks. Pay your backup and let Baker rest, and then play when you need him in tight situations. So yes, he underperformed a little bit, but throughout the year he was playing injured as well. So
I think he's definitely out of that class. He's definitely the second best. I think he's edging out Sam Darnold for second best, and I think he'll edge out Sam Darnold in this quarterback contest. He's okay, man. He's not horrible. There's worse guys, but there's also, he's probably middle of the pack,
Yeah.
And I think this trade could be good for the Panthers. It's pairing him up with Matt Rule, getting more of that college system in there. Yeah. Baker thrived in that at Oklahoma, and a lot of what Matt Rule has done when he was in college and then even now is kind of that spread offense and that same kind of system. So I think it's the best place he probably could have went. I can't think of any other places that are better for him to go. He'll compete. Yeah, and hopefully McCaffrey's healthy. If not, the last couple of years that he's been hurt, they've had somebody to throw back there to kind of be serviceable. Mm-hmm. They're a rebuild team. They're not going to be great. I didn't like their draft this year, but we'll see. I think a good quarterback can always cover up a lot of flaws. So it's whether or not Baker can step up and be that guy. Plus, he's playing with a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove to everyone else, not only everyone else, but he also wants to show Cleveland, Deshaun's going to be suspended for a little while. You're going to be in a rut. Here I am thriving. So let's see what happens. I think it's a good move for Baker Mayfield, and I think Carolina Panthers. What else do you got to lose if he tanks it or gets hurt and it doesn't work out with him and Sam Darnold? You'll be picking in the top 5 again. You get you a quarterback next year.
Yeah, I think Cleveland has really hurt themselves with this one, or got themselves in a pretty sticky situation when it comes to quarterbacks. And they couldn't foresee it coming this way. Maybe they should have investigated the Deshaun Watson thing a little bit more.
You had to know he was going to get suspended, though. They suspended Ben Roethlisberger. He didn't get charged.
They're on the hook for a lot of money right now. Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield, they're paying 2 quarterbacks more than they're paying their quarterback.
But it's a long-term picture, right? So wonder if this is part of the ploy. I wonder if they're like, all right, we know this year we're not going to be that good. We're going to be without Deshaun Watson for a good chunk of the season, maybe the whole season. Why not just throw what we got out there? We don't want to put Baker out there. That's wrong to do to him, so they're looking out for him. Mm-hmm. But it's also gives them a better advantage to get a lower pick if they have this backup quarterback out there.
Yeah.
They've got a great running game. I don't know if
we can't sleep on Jacoby Brissett. I think he's going to be able
serviceable
to step in and do his job. He did it in Indy. He did it
in Miami for a little bit. He's serviceable.
So I think Jacoby will step in and get the job done at the end of the day, for what they need to get done. Especially, he's an NFL quarterback, like I said before, and last year they played with the hurt Baker Mayfield. I'd rather have Jacoby Brissett out there than hurt Baker Mayfield any day. So.
Well, and he's a vet. He's savvy. He's been around the league for a long time, so he knows how to prepare. He knows that this is his job for a moment. He knows that when Deshaun Watson is approved to come back or cleared to come back, that's who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good guy to have back there as a backup. I just don't know that they're going to give him too much to work with.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Baker Mayfield will win that competition between Sam Darnold, and this is the reason why. Week 1. He wants revenge. Week 1.
Who they play week 1 with the Browns?
They play the Browns week 1. So you couldn't write it any better. Sometimes, we're going to talk about the WWE and a little later, and it's scripted, but sometimes the way things happen in the NFL, you think it would be scripted, right?
For sure.
That's Mayfield.
That's like Seattle
Panthers,
and Denver.
And Russell Wilson to Denver. Yep. And week 1, it's Seattle, Denver, Carolina, Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. Baker's winning that.
He couldn't write it. He doesn't care if he plays the rest of the season. It's like he cares. It's the NFL. Yeah. But week 1, he has that date marked, and he's coming for you, Cleveland. Best believe it.
Baker's winning that battle because he's the better quarterback.
He is. He's
gonna.
I was being nice.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold. I just maybe he's a little shell shocked. I mean, he got killed out in New York. He got drilled a bunch. There was that video of him saying he's seen ghosts. When he was playing with the Jets, I think his first or second year. So it's rough, man. Hopefully it's a good battle. Hopefully C-Mac can stay healthy and give him some support, because if you got a dude like C-Mac in that backfield, it opens up a lot of windows for you. People got to respect your run. People got to respect.
Boy.
Yeah, there's another one that got away, right?
Yeah.
But I think his parents had more to do with that. They're Stanford people, but. Yeah, man, I think it's going to be a good thing for Baker. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's a good situation to be in right there, right? So I just want to give a shout out to Christian Whitney and Black Sevens. If you need any graphic design work done, make sure you hit up Christian Whitney at blacksevens.com. Christian is a native of North Denver and a beast at what he does. He's also a great dude. Visit blacksevens.com right now to see his work. Buy some merch and see all what he has going on. When I had the Envision for DNA, I threw it at Christian. He knocked it out the park. So go visit blacksevens.com, check out his merch, and subscribe.
Oh, he really killed that. He really killed that logo, bro.
Yeah, he did.
I was super proud of that logo, man. Even the options that we had to go through, it was fun sharing with people. A couple people like, hey, what do you think about this one? What do you think about this one? Dude, he did a great job, so definitely show him some love. And he's definitely a great dude. I got to meet him here at the barbecue, and great guy, man.
Good people, great company, and he's a genius when it comes to design, so check him out.
For sure. So we talked a little WWE just a second ago, and I just brought this up because I think for a lot of us men who were once young boys, WWE was a big part of growing up at some point in your life. WWF from back when I was a kid. But, we won't mess with the World Wildlife Fund.
Yeah.
But reportedly, Vince McMahon has some issues going on. So it's been reported that he paid 4 women a total of $12 million to quiet them down on sexual misconduct allegations. Vince McMahon paid out millions in hush money to a former female wrestler with whom he had a coercive sexual relationship with, and decided not to bring back to WWE after she spurned him for further sexual advances. He allegedly paid $7.5 million to the former wrestler. She alleged that he coerced her to giving him oral, demoted her, and then decided not to renew the contract in 2005. After she refused further encounters with him, according to Wall Street Journal, an NDA was negotiated in 2018. The Journal reported details over $12 million paid out to 4 women over the last 16 years. As you know, this is coming on the heels from last month being reported that the WWE is investigating a secret $3 million payout from McMahon to a former employee over an alleged affair. That whole situation caused McMahon to step away as chairman and CEO. WWE has an ongoing investigation, and there are other executives within WWE who are alleged to have similar activity. It's wild to think about, man, but it goes to show you, like we were talking about earlier, dude, money corrupts. And there's a lot of dudes that think they can do what they want. A lot of people who think they can do what they want. And just because they have money or because they have this elevated stature in society, they're going to get away with it. So it's frustrating to see that some of the progress be held back by crazy stuff like this.
Yeah. As a longtime WWF fan, you mentioned it earlier, this upsets me. Vince McMahon is a wrestling legend. However, money doesn't make you untouchable, Mr. McMahon. If you walk like a duck, talk like a duck, you must be a duck. Same thing I said with Deshaun Watson, right? If there's so many allegations, at some point you got to just say, you know what, you're guilty of something. But it'll be interesting the way that this proceeds going forward. I was watching a few things earlier, and I believe Vince McMahon actually made an appearance on SmackDown the other day. And then when he went into the back locker room, screamed, he said something kind of hinting towards the situation, then went into the back locker room and screamed F them in lewds of what's going on. So, I think the arrogance and things like that of that nature are going to get you in the worst situation than you're already in.
Sometimes you got to take the back seat, bro.
Yeah,
just be like, all right, I'm stepping away from the limelight. He's 76 years old.
Yeah, but, they also, you were saying there's other high-end members within WWE that are also being looked at, and there also have been talks of maybe one potential WWE employee being the quote-unquote fall guy and taking a lot of the brunt of this blame. So that's why I said it'll be interesting to see how the next couple of days proceed and see what goes on with that situation. But, I just want to say, again, power, money, fame it's not power. Don't confuse it with it. And boundaries are boundaries. Yep. So, you got to know a person's boundary. And I just don't understand it, Al. I don't get whatever happened to the game, right? Whatever happened to the enjoying the machismo feeling you get from courting a young lady and saying all the right things to get you to where you need to be, and for her to feel genuinely attracted to you like you're attracted to her. What happened to those days? Now people think that it should just be, I'm so-and-so, you need to like me.
Well, I think you get to a certain point, and I've never had $1 million, let alone multi-$100 million, billion dollars, So I don't know the arrogance that comes with that when, no one's told you no for the longest time.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of just bowed at you because they know you can change their life. So I think there comes a certain point in the person's time when they're at that stature. Like, that's why I see some of these guys that are humble and that are, the same person they were long before they got money, and they're the same person after they got money, because to be able to be humble and down to earth after having all these people just tell you how great you are, it's got to be a tough thing to do. But like you said, it hasn't stopped Mr. McMahon from living. He's making appearances at SmackDown. He made an appearance at a UFC event, this last recent UFC fight. He was there with Triple H, his daughter, a couple of execs, and just having a good old time. You mentioned earlier that there's other employees that are also in hot water for the same thing. This Wall Street Journal story that I was reading. I forget the executive's name, but it's one of the CFO type guys.
It's the same guy we're talking about. I just
laying with the same woman, man, had the same issue, and it's like, dude, y'all just sharing people now. Like, it's wild, bro.
They're passing things around, and now they're going to pass the buck on to him, you know, and pay him a hefty settlement to just kind of go off into the woods.
It's like, hey, man, you're going to have to take this. And I don't think anything legal is coming out of it. I don't think it's like a legal deal. I just think it's a more of like a lawsuit thing now. And
yeah, me too. It's a shame though, especially when you get to a certain level of success and you have so much money to where lawsuits just are another day in the park for you. Where, like you said, you're at UFC events and you're spending high-end dollar to be in the front row or wherever you're sitting, club seats, whatever the case may be. and you have these looming pending charges, and you're just living life like nothing.
I'll never tell a person how they should spend their money. Like, if you got money, spend it how you spend it. If you work hard for your money, you spend your money how you spend it. I just think what $12 million can do, and that's a lot of freaking money, man. Yep. That's a lot of money to pay out to tell people, shh. You know what I mean? And it makes you think, like, what else have you paid for in terms of keeping quiet?
Yeah.
What other things have been done? And I'm sure this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. You know, when these things happen like this, there's always just this flood of more allegations or flood of more things that come out about the person. And the next thing you know, they're just completely, just completely freaking change your view on how you think that person.
Yeah, and I challenge some of these guys, again, situations, we're not in the situations that happen to cause any of these lawsuits that are coming up on any of these people with money or whatever the case may be. But, and I understand sometimes, you see one thing one way and the other person sees it another way, and it's just a misunderstanding or whatever the case may be. But I challenge some of these guys. If you're out there settling lawsuits for something like this, well, why don't you turn around and, besides that settlement, donate some money to a charity of somebody who's been affected of something just like this, to show, I may have made a mistake, or I might have did something that came off in the wrong way, and I want to show that I'm not that kind of guy. I'm going to donate to this charity because I think this is something important, and that people need to know that this is not who I am.
Yeah, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, exactly.
Show that
anybody could play some hush money, as they say, to make it go away. Well, put your money where your mouth is, and put some money to a charity and show that you're really not this person. Well,
how do rich, wealthy folks speak? They speak in terms of dollars, right? So you want us to believe that you're really sorry, and that I'm sure you're sorry you got caught.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're sorry this information came out. But if you want to let us know that you really are, put your money where your mouth is, and go out there and make a difference with something that you can do, make a wrong a right. But until then, that's when, man, I look at it in a whole different light. Like you said, Mr. McMahon used to be a legend. He was a legend of the wrestling world. He made the WWE a multi-billion-dollar industry. To think of it what it was when I was a kid, going to the events, to now, it's a full-on production.
Yeah,
it's wild, man.
Entertainment.
It's truly world wrestling entertainment, and you can't think of the squared circle without thinking of the WWE/WWF. So very unfortunate, man. But you make your bed, you lay in it, and there's consequences to everyone's actions, man. And
there is.
You got to live by it, and you got to live with the consequences. So, hey, it is what it is, as the kids say.
Yep. On to some other news that I'm pretty excited about.
Some better news.
Other topics, something fun that's going on today, in fact, and I'm very excited about it. I'm an advocate of battle rap and the culture, hip hop in general. I've been watching battle rap for a very long time. Lions Den, Smack DVD era, everything, I'm not no caffeine baby, so everybody's talking about the caffeine babies. I do watch Caffeine now. And speaking of, Gnome 12 will be on Caffeine today, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Check it out. I'm very excited for the matchups that they have on this card. It should be a good one. They have, to kick it off, they have the Ultimate Madness finale, Swamp versus JC, for $100,000. That battle should be an interesting one. Some say Swamp may not be a matchup for JC, I'm sorry. But they may have said that about Rum Nitty as well, and he got that job done, according to the voters. And they said it about Fonz. He's been an underdog in every single one of his matchups. He's had the toughest road throughout the thing. And, I think that he definitely will come out to fight. It's $100,000 on the line. They're athletes just like
that's wild
else, and the preparation that they have to put in to do what they do, hats off to them. We've both done music before, and for me personally, I just don't know if the music that I've done in the past would transition to battle rap in a sense of where it's at nowadays. These guys are getting up there and writing for 3.5, sometimes 5 minutes if you're DNA, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're just rapping straight punchlines, bars, metaphors, double entendres, all this different, skilled rap. And it's pretty impressive to see.
It's definitely evolved, dude. I remember battle rapping. It was like freestyle battle rapping and just going back and forth freestyling, man. And it's definitely evolved and changed. And some of these guys are so creative with the way they put their punchlines together, man. It's incredible. Have you ever battled before?
I have battled, but not on camera and not in a setting. More like you were saying, more of a freestyle type setting. I'm gonna battle your best guy. Let's show up at a party and let's have it out. But I've never been a part of any of the battle rap leagues that they have out here. They have cushion coffins, body bag battles. There's a few out here in Colorado. Shouts out to Mr. Biscuit.
Mr. Biscuit,
he does his thing out here, bro. He's actually made his appearance on some of the crucibles within the URL, and watch for him. He still may make his appearance on the main stage someday.
So I battled before, Don.
In one of the leagues?
Not one of the leagues, but it was a body bags battle, but they had like a feature battle, right? Okay. And we were there as musical support.
Yeah.
And I beatbox battled.
Oh.
Yeah. And I beatbox battled this kid. I forget his name. We're going back and forth in the first 2 rounds. There's 3 rounds. We're going back and forth, and I was holding my own, bro. I was hitting some killer beats, and he was dope. And 3rd round came along, and I had to go first. 3rd round came along, and I hit him. I hit him with what I got, bro. That's what I got. I'm about to take this mother out.
Yeah.
He killed me. Yeah. Killed me in the 3rd round, dude. He killed me in the 3rd round, bro. He came out with like this dubstep beatbox style, bro, that was just at the time, and this is probably 10 years ago. At the time, though, I'd never heard nothing like it. I've never heard no one do a beatbox with dubstep. And the crowd knew, I knew, my crew knew. It was humbling, but it was also dope. It is a great experience, bro, because I had never done nothing like that. I've performed on shows and stage, and we did a couple of the 420 rallies, dude, where it's just a sea of people you see.
Yeah.
But I'd never been on camera battling somebody just like we're battling, dude. Like,
oh man, it takes stage presence.
Dude.
It takes confidence.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It takes skill. And all these guys we're about to talk about possess that. I'm a big fan. You can see it on my shirt today. The talk is different. This is Easy to Block Captain's merch. I'm a big fan of them. But I'm going to run down my predictions for this card real quick, Al, if you don't mind.
No, because I got some opinion.
Okay. Swamp versus JC, the Ultimate Madness finale. I think it's going to be a good battle. I think Swamp, he talks what they want to talk in Houston. You know what I mean? Like his southern swang.
Is that where it's at in Houston?
It's in Houston.
Oh, okay. That's going to be a big part.
Swamp's from South Carolina, and I think the way he raps may go over well in Houston. However, JC is probably, in my opinion, since I've been watching battle rap, one of the best pins in battle rap. And I got JC winning this 2-1 clear, and that's what I got on that prediction. JC is just too much, I think.
I think Swamp's going to come out strong, bro. Like you said, he's going to feed off that crowd because they're going to dig what he's doing. But I think just JC's ability is just going to shine through a little bit more. Yeah. And I think ultimately the cream always rises to the top.
It does. And I'm not going in the particular order of the card, because this was introduced as the first battle and maybe co-main event. To me, Easy the Block Captain and Goods are the main event, but this is being kind of put out there as one of the main events. And that's T-Top versus Tay-Rock. They've already had a quarantine battle. I don't know if you were able to check that out, but in 2020, they did a quarantine battle of where it was just basically over Zoom, and they went back and forth. And, I think Rock, he went in there a little bit light. He was still fire. He went in a little bit light because it was a quarantine battle. And T-Top went in there ready to take his head off. So I think Top took the quarantine battle. However, in this setting, in a live setting, Tay-Rock is the gun bar king, and I feel that Tay-Rock will take this battle 2-1 edge. I ain't mad if you have T-Top 2-1. I feel that it could go either way, but me personally, I feel that Tay-Rock is going to have a little bit too much up there, too many punches, too many gun bars, and at the end of the day, those schemes aren't going to work because a lot of us heard them. However, if T-Top brings Briz Rothstein out and talks about the whole fight on the stage thing, that may be
Maybe something that pushes him over.
Maybe an angle that he can take, but for right now, I'm gonna say Tay-Rock 2-1 in that battle for sure.
You gotta like Tay-Rock's chances being that it's harder to. You think it's hard battle rapping on a stage? It's got to be weird battle rapping on Zoom, dude. Yeah. Like I hated Zoom meetings when we were doing them. Yeah. You know, you're stepping over each other. Like it's just a mess, man. And you can't. Sometimes it's the delivery and the body delivery of the bars that go a long way in battling. Yeah. You know, I always used to say, like, you just need a big hype crowd and, you know, get hype when you do something crazy. And but sometimes there's a lot to be said about the whole body language and just delivery. And I don't think that shines through as good through a computer as it would live on stage. So it definitely interested to see that one. That one go either way, and I agree with you probably on Tay-Rock.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of also like, you know, have you ever slap boxed with one of the homies?
Yep.
And you feel like you took it a little light,
yep.
and they went a little harder than they should have because they're like, oh, we were just playing around. So the next time you give it to them a little bit more.
Yep.
I think that's that situation.
And then the next time there's fist
is like, you know what? We're professionals, but we're also cool outside of battle rap. And we had this Zoom, and you went a little harder than I like, so I'm gonna come hard.
It's time. Like when you're fighting with your little brother. My little brother one time, bro, I was teaching him how to fight. He had these little mini boxing gloves. And I was like, you can wear the boxing gloves. I'll get pillows and I'll like wrap them around my hands and I won't hit you that hard. And we're going and I'm teaching him how to jab, teaching him how to work his hook. And we're starting to go at it pretty good. And he cold clocked me, bro, caught me right in the nose and had a trickle of blood.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And he came at me the next time and I hit him with an uppercut, bro. And he bounced off the couch, fell onto the floor, started crying. And I was like, all right, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
That's funny. You know, let's go on to the next one that I have on my list. This battle was added at the last minute. It's a goodie. Both these guys, I feel, are coming into this with something to prove. I think a lot of people have been talking about K-Shine in a negative way, maybe saying that he may have had a few debatables. You know, most people have him losing to Easy the Block Captain. And I think he's going to remind people why in 2019 everybody was calling him the most dangerous battle rapper there was. I think K-Shine will come out in this battle versus Real Sick. And I think he'll take it 2-1. Real Sick is a talented opponent, and he could also come out there and steal this, but I think Shine has something to prove to the fans. Has nothing to do with Real Sick, but I think Shine's going to come out and be the K-Shine that we all expect him to be. And he'll come out and take that battle 2-1.
I'm just going Real Sick right now because I like the name.
Yeah,
fool. And that fool's real sick. So
yeah, he is.
I think I'm gonna go differ with you on that one. And then it'll be the first one I do, but I'm gonna go with Real Sick on that one.
Nice. This next one is a bar fest, Al. You know, this is probably one of the most slept on battles. I had to go back and forth with whether this was gonna be the battle of the night for me or not. It still may be by the end of this segment. But Danny Myers versus Nun. Both these guys' freestyle ability is out of this world. The rebuttal game. This can be a freestyle rebuttal battle the whole entire time. And you talked about it at the beginning, what happened to the freestyle battles back in the day. These two dudes might very well bring that. You know, they're very skilled at what they do. You know, they call Danny Myers the bar god, and Nun says he wants this battle to be for that title. He's coming for the bar god status. And me personally, I'm going to go with Danny Myers just because, you know, he's a vet. He's hard to beat. He doesn't lose very often, and he's that dude. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Danny Myers on this one, 2-1.
Man, same thing, bro. I'm probably going to have to defer, go against you on that one and go with Nun. Nice. Again, it's another one of those. I like how each one of these battles, bro, they're going to be very competitive, dude. They're very capable gentlemen and all got their own unique skill set, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Nun on this one, and I think it'll be close. Wouldn't be surprised if it swayed the other way with the vote, but you don't want Nun, bro.
Yeah. Next battle, also another goodie. One of the hottest faces in battle rap. Some may say the face in battle rap right now versus a legend. Geechee Gotti versus Hollow the Don. You know, for me, I'm gonna go Gotti. I relate to more of what Gotti says, you know what I mean, personally. and the way he flips words and uses words along with the lifestyle that I'm accustomed to gravitating towards, you know what I mean? I just think Geechee Gotti is going to be a little too much for Hollow. But, man, Hollow's one of the originals, you know what I mean? And he's one of those dudes that, again, can freestyle out of this world. And in their face-off, he said he's going to bring that element back. So I'm excited to see what Hollow brings, but I'm going to edge Geechee Gotti in this one as well, 2-1.
All right, I'm glad we're going back and forth now because I'm going Hollow the mother loving Dom, bro.
Yeah.
Hollow the God, Hollow the GOAT.
Yeah.
Like you said, one of the throwbacks and kind of can relate back to that throwback feeling.
Yeah.
Geechee's dope though. It'll be a good battle, bro. But this is gonna be one of those. We're gonna take it back to the golden age, and we're going with Hollow, man.
He could do it, man. I'm not gonna sleep on him for sure. This next battle, personally, my battle of the night. Both of these dudes, man, are phenomenal. I like both of them. In fact, I have a text message or a instant message with Easy the Block Captain. Last year, around July, I actually messaged him and told him he should take Calico and Geechee before he took Goods. I thought Goods was a little bit more of a dangerous battle for him. Even though they talk that same kind of talk a little bit, it's kind of a style clash because Goods his confidence and his swagger can make your ability look really small. However, Easy's been cooking, man. He is 10-0. He's killing everything moving. He's just, again, him or Geechee Gotti to me have to be the face of battle rap right now. And for me personally, I wouldn't be surprised if Goods came in there and, again, I could be upsetted on any of these battles and any of my picks, but I'm going to rock with Easy 2-1 edge. I don't think there's no way that either one of them is going to come in there and get a clean body. But I do think that Easy's going to come in there and just do a little too much, and the talk is different. Goods talks that slick talk, but the talk is different. And those who are listening for that talk, and everybody who's watching this battle is listening for that talk, I think Easy's going to take it.
I like Easy too. Easy's a little gritty.
Yeah.
I like that about him. Goods is clean, man. Like I watched that one with him and Cassidy, and I thought he did really well on that one.
Yeah, killed him.
Yeah, he's got bars for sure, without a doubt. He's got bars, but I just like the grittiness of Easy. I think being in the South with this one, that grittiness is going to come through a little bit more. I think it'll resonate more, and I just like the way his delivery is a little bit better. And I think he's going to take this one. It should be a good battle. Battle of the night, I'd probably agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
And it's exciting, man. I haven't been big into battle rap. Been doing my homework, and you've turned me on to a few things, but it's competition, bro. You get out on the stage, and it's competition. See some of these cats that still bring in the freestyle with it. Dude, that resonates with me, and I'm excited to see that because all these dudes are dope, and they all can just slaughter a good chunk of battle rappers in the world, dude, with ease.
Yeah.
And to see them go back and forth on this one should be fun. It's just, like a Super Bowl battle rap.
Yep. Night of main events goes down today in Houston, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Check it out on Caffeine. Shouts out to Smack. You're doing this. You're taking this battle rap culture to the next level. You're the godfather of battle rap. URL, you're doing your thing. Caffeine partnership, Drake. Shout out to Champagne Poppy for partnering with URL and Caffeine and doing what he got to do. And it should be an exciting card today.
That's dope, man. Staying along the same kind of lines, bro. Kind of keep it light before we close it out today.
Okay.
So I've been listening to some new music, man. I get excited when I hear new music that I like, especially when it comes to hip hop.
Yeah.
A lot of the new hip hop misses with me.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this new group out, man, that I've been fooling with, and it kind of led me to ask you, what your favorite new artist or band is. There's this new group, though, I've been fooling with called Coast Contra, and they're dope, bro. I don't know if you've heard their Never freestyle. It went viral on Insta and Facebook and all that. But there's 4 members of the group. The group's called Coast Contra. They're coming from West Coast, from out of LA. The 4 members: Raz, Taj Austin, Real Los, and Eric Jamal. Raz and Taz are actually the twin sons from West Coast legend Raz Cass.
Okay.
So they got some talent in their bloodline. Rio Los, he comes from like Colombia, bro, and they met in high school and they formed a group and then they released a mixtape together. Brought in their fourth member, Eric Jamal from Philly, and you can hear it in his voice. I mean, he's a Philly cat, but these guys got bars, dude. They're all four of them are super dope. Favorite track on their album that they just released an album called 505. They were on like Jimmy Fallon and all that shit, like last week. So Apartment 505 is the album. Favorite track off there is a song called Pimpin' Benjamin. Check it out. You can find their freestyles on YouTube. But dude, I like them because they relit a flame in me, bro. Like I love lyricism. Like,
yeah. You know, I actually didn't know who they were until you kind of schooled me to them, and I went and checked them out last night, and they bring that essence back, bro. They bring that hip hop essence, the Talib Kweli's, the Mos Def's, the Commons type, but they also have like somewhat of a new school twist to it, bro. Like it's not completely hip hopish, but it's lyrical hip hop. You know what I mean? And their stuff is good. I was listening to it last night. You know, I checked out a few sounds. I checked out that Apartment 505, a couple songs off of it. And I'll definitely put them in my playlist and check them out from here on out and listen to them. I like what they're working with.
It's like that boom bap trap kind of mixture, bro. And it's like they all work well together. It's pretty dope, man. I'm actually gonna play a little snippet of it.
Okay.
But this dude, this cat right here, Eric Jamal, flame, dude.
I used to want to be a drug dealer.
I don't even know if we're supposed to be doing this on
I seen they always getting
Spotify, but we gonna do it anyway.
I used to want to be a pimp too. Ooh, but then I felt love. When I heard I could be anybody, I start running from who I was.
Like damn, I don't know who I am. Not too many role models in my fam. Uncle Sam came, took my green eggs and ham. On my knees praying to God like, amen. I don't wanna have to go put a gun in hand and do the running man for robbing for finance. Go blam, blam, another young man dead. Don't understand how we allow this to happen. Another boy killed over beef, we like lamb. Slaughtered by police and people with my skin. In Philadelphia, everyone Jersey is Cunningham. At 12, you understand 21 is your lifespan. See, bygones can't be bygones, they just go bygones. I try to teach them how to excel. They think too micro, they only see as far as they windows. I think they eyes closed, they rather go by Jordans. I wanted to be like Michael, you see.
But they got bars, bro, and especially this young brother. They got bars, man, and I just showed him, but I think the whole group, they're super fire, man, and it's exciting to see young groups like that coming together on new to hip hop, man. Because like you say, sometimes some things get stale, but also you need to, as a grown adult myself, I need to open up more to some of the different new music, and it's people like that kind of. They're that segue to the new school, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and you know what? It's exciting to see when artists get together on a hip hop album like that as a group and just collab every day in the studio. You know what I mean? Like, as you know how hard it could be to contrast with somebody when you're in there really trying to put a hit together, and the fact that they all sound good on the record together is a really big thing. They vibe together,
and their Apartment 505 is like apparently based off of the story of them all just moving together in this apartment, and that's all they did was just freaking create, record.
That's dope.
And you can hear it in their music, man. You can hear the level of chemistry within the four. It's hard sometimes to have good chemistry with more people you have in it. That's why Wu-Tang was so fire, and that's why a lot of these mega groups you don't see too much out of, and you see like more duos and whatnot. But for them to have that kind of, they all blend and mesh together perfectly, and they're real dope, man. So if you guys haven't heard them, go check them out. That's Coast Contra. This ain't no paid endorsement or anything like that. It's just a dude that loves hip hop hearing some dope hip hop. So
yeah, and we don't own the rights to that song.
I don't even know. I don't know what the do's or don'ts are. We're new to the podcast world, and we appreciate you for joining us along this journey into the podcast world, because we're gonna do what we do.
Yeah, you started that segue. I don't want to go away from them too much, but you asked who I listen to nowadays. And I'm deep in this battle rap culture, man.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people talk about battle rappers not being able to make the transition to music, and for the most part, I agree.
Yeah. Put them on a beat and it changes.
Yeah. However, that dude Sue Surf, that dude makes music, bro. If you don't know who Sue Surf is, go check him out. You know, I think he has some of the dopest music out there. You know, I don't consider him a battle rapper when I'm listening to his albums. He just puts out good music. You know, he has a collab venture with Mozzie. I'm sure a lot of people know who Mozzie is. If you don't know who Mozzie is, check him out. He's a beast from the West Coast. Sue Surf's from New Jersey. You know what I mean? They have a joint venture called Blood Cousins. And, man, that is fire, pure fire. So, yeah, that's who I've been rocking lately. There's also an artist I just got hip to the other day. His name's Rucci. He's from Inglewood, California. You know, he's doing his thing, trying to come up, and he's trying to actually, you know, hopes that the doors would open up to maybe an invitation or a meeting between him and Mac 10. You know, some Inglewood love there, and get his foot in the door. He deserves it. You know, it's long overdue. But yeah, those are some of the guys that I check out right now.
That's dope, dude. I like the going back a little bit. I do like the battle rappers when they're in a battle rap element, and just hearing them, even if they do freestyles or whatever, because when you don't have to have structure and you can just freely let your pen do what you want to let your pen do, like, you can come out with some really creative things, bro. And I'm a sucker to bars, dude. I'll take bars over dope, crazy, fancy production any day. The old boom bap where you could just have, you know, a drum kick and looped and just letting someone go at it, bro. I love lyricism, dude, and that's why those guys resonate with me. That's why these battle rappers that you've been pointing me out to resonate with me. It's just because you get to get into the lyrics of it, man, and that's where it's at.
If you haven't checked it out, I would definitely recommend checking out Sue Surf's bars on I-95 freestyle.
It's funny that you say that, bro, because I just pulled that up. Should I play it?
You should, bro. It's fire.
Well, let's get by these little ads, because we're not getting paid by these ads.
Yeah, we're not getting
so
paid
we're
by
gonna
guys.
have to check this out though, real quick. Let me peep it.
Bars on I-95, man. Sue Surf Jersey, man. Bars on I-95, man. #1 hip hop show in Connecticut.
Gun titles.
I don't even gotta talk much about this. You already know what time it is. I got one of the top heavy bar spitters in the planet next to me. So we're gonna get right into it, man. It's C's, boy. AB, what up?
What the hell's going on? Well, I thought we were going to a little technical difficulty.
All them late nights, me and them walls got acquainted. Basquiat with the hammer, plenty pictures I done painted. Them judge read the charges, shit, mama nearly fainted. My hood been Iraq, and bricks like the Navy. In the kitchen whipping gravy, try and get it for the baby. I wouldn't say a name if them motherfuckers paid me. Remember sitting in that cell, Jordan and McGrady. That's 23 and 1, window blocked so I can't see the sun. Push-ups 100 down all the way to 1. Just caught another case like I ain't just beat a gun. Somebody on the phone tripping, she won't let him see it, son. Go ahead with your shit, go ahead with your list. Them niggas that you think hard, me and them no mix. But everybody banging though, everybody riding. Out of state, screaming out blocks, we be sliding. Good on your welcome home if you wasn't screaming free me. Mine on the mill behind that wall, hold up, free me. Tinted Impalas, we probably pile up for the mission. Lord, I know I'm contradicting, but I'm praying that we hit him. Wasn't thinking about his mother before we got him, but we get him. Pray my mom, but don't never gotta identify a victim. We rap those things. Get some clients if you're trapped on bling. My daughter asking what them tattoos mean. Shit, first you feel sad and you feel mad. In the mirror like, what if she want a nigga like her dad? So I've been trying to chill, I've been focused on the bag. I'm sorry if this ain't the type of shit to make you dab. Nice of that sound.
Yo, the boy is nice, son.
I got goosebumps, bro.
Oh.
I'm telling you, Surf is fire, bro. Check him out. He's fire.
Oh, that's what's up, bro. Hey, that's the perfect way to do it, man. That's it, man. That's the end of the second show, dude. We did this.
Yeah, we went in on that one.
Hey, what did you learn today?
I learned a lot. But one thing that I learned for sure is that I don't know.
I learned that Sue Surf is dope, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely. I learned that again. You know,
I learned that we got a long way to go. You know, I learned that money corrupts, power corrupts, and you know we got a long way to go. But I think we'll get there, and as long as we continue to do what we do, and you know, I think we got a responsibility in terms of just kind of bringing things to the light. You know, using this platform to be able to bring some things to the light. And it doesn't have to always be something that both you and I agree on.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about this country. That's the great thing about life and being able to be free to express ourselves is we don't have to agree, but we do have to understand that there's always two views to a story. There's always two sides to a story. So we got to make sure when we're doing the diligence to make sure that we're doing the diligence on both sides and we're understanding and being empathetic to other people too.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you know, I was a little frazzled because I was still feeling that surf freestyle. But, you know, I'll say I didn't necessarily, it's not what I learned or but it's what I'm going to take away from this is that, again, like you said, we got to be compassionate. You know, we got to be understanding. We got to be respectful. Again, I keep saying it. I said it in episode 1. I'll say it in episode 2. You know, we got to respect people's boundaries, man. And we just got to, you know, give respect when respect is due and give people their flowers when flowers are due. And so, you know, with that said, if we're in a tough situation as a country, we got to back the people that we support. And that's why I think this Brittney Griner thing is so important. So I want to end again on saying free Brittney Griner. And I hope that everything plays out the way it's supposed to be in that situation.
Y'all heard that? Make sure you go and check us out, DNASportsDenver.com. Again, that's DNASportsDenver.com. Yo, go book a session. Go follow the podcast. Leave a review. Leave us some follows on our Facebook, Instagram. Almost said MySpace. Twitter, YouTube channel. Need some subscriptions. Again, we're going. So make sure you check us out. If you didn't listen to the first podcast, go listen to it. Follow it up with this one. And we'll be back with the next one, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yes, sir. Shouts out to Black Sevens and Christian Whitney. Go check him out as well. And, hey, support us.
We out.